And our next question comes to us from Ben in Canada. And this is our first international question. So, Ben, welcome. We appreciate it. We love our brothers from the north and sisters.
Yes.
I have built an app called SheHappy to help a man track his partner's cycle and know how it affects her mood. The intent is so that he can support her more empathetically and at a time when she needs it most. However, I have seen opinions on both sides of this argument, rather strong ones. Now there's really no other version of arguments but strong ones, and I'm curious to know what you think. Well, thanks, Ben. Appreciate that. Anna, what do you think?
Well,
you are the female persuasion.
I am of the female persuasion, yes. So this topic is definitely I can call like a hot button topic.
You want me to mansplain it to you?
No, I don't need any mansplaining. Thank you very much. I've been living with this for,
your whole life?
Not my whole life. The early years.
You haven't lived with being female your whole life?
Well, okay, yes, being female.
Oh, okay. Just checking. You never can be too sure.
Yeah, last time I checked. So this question, it's been rolling around in my head quite a bit. And definitely I have some mixed feelings on it. So I kind of want to start by talking about his intent, the intent behind why he made this app, so that he or men can better support their female partners more empathetically.
Men are pretty dense. We're not really good at paying attention to things. So I don't know this app really well, but based on what he's talking about, it's that I assume you're putting in times when you see your partner is on their cycle.
Yes.
Or they're overly emotional or vulnerable or whatever. And that app can then see patterns and maybe present alarms or reminders. Hey, be aware, be more empathetic, be more attentive to your partner. To those men who may not be paying attention because they're living their own lives, obviously, and they have no relation of understanding of what a woman goes through during that time.
Yeah. So like I was saying, I really appreciate the intent behind this, the wanting to be more supportive, because, during a woman's cycle, she can experience a range of emotions in a stronger pattern than she normally would.
That's a very nice way of saying crazy.
That's right. That's right.
Crazy.
That's right. It's just, and it can be very frustrating.
It's a tale as old as time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it can be very frustrating because
Tell me about it.
I definitely have had, experiences where, I knew it was around that time because I was becoming more sensitive, unreasonable, more reactive. I could go from, being in a good mood to I'm like crying.
And from a guy's perspective, that can be very disorienting because we don't see, it's like you're the same person every day to us.
Oh, absolutely.
And so when your behavior changes, we might react in a non-empathetic way.
Right.
Because we're just getting pushed on, we're going to push back and we don't realize. So I believe, Ben, in terms of, is this a good app to have? Yes, I think the intent is good. Now, I understand what the critics may say, and I did take the liberty of looking at some of the comments you were getting. And yes, people are going to be quite negative about something like this because people would see it as an invasion of privacy, which I don't agree with, because if you're tracking your partner's cycle, you could do it in a calendar on your own. It's what you're witnessing, right? Unless you're... And if you're in a good relationship, you can have those discussions and let people know anyway. Like, I will say, Ben, in a good relationship, partners communicating, the other partner actually should know about when things are and kind of be able to feel that out.
Right.
But that's not... Ben is trying to help people that aren't that connected or not that communicative, I think. It's a useful app. Could it be misused? Is the question.
Absolutely, it could.
Well, how could it be misused?
Well,
because I'm struggling with this one.
Yeah, and so I'm not sure.
Aha.
But, okay, so I want to say something else, though.
Okay.
I think this app, maybe you should not target it to the boyfriend or the male persuasion, but target it to the person who's having the cycle. So that, how
does the partner get the information?
Well, then they have to communicate.
But there's already apps and ways for women to track their cycle on their own. This is to help a partner track when they need to be more emotionally cognizant. Right? And yes, that lines up with the cycle because of obvious reasons. So it is a cycle tracker too, in a way.
Right.
But you could say it as it's a boyfriend that may not know exactly when it's happening. They're just saying, I'm marking stuff down. So the app is a helpful reminder as you build up data on how to react. It's not going to help the woman who's already tracking their cycle, or maybe they don't care about tracking their cycle.
Yeah, that's true.
This is essentially for a person to understand when that's happening and be more ready for them. Now, if I was going to be devil's advocate and say, how could this be misused? Let's say you're tracking your partner's cycle and they might miss their cycle and you've got to ask questions, right? Like, it's like, but the fact is,
well, and I would say maybe another misuse of it too is that if a guy is tracking the cycle and he's like, oh, is it getting closer? So maybe he's intentionally trying to get her pregnant.
Well,
so he's going to know when
this is not a misuse of this app. Anyone with that intent could use any various methods. Right?
Oh,
if
absolutely.
they're that intent, they can just you can use a calendar reminder. You can put stuff.
Yes. Yes.
My point is, I think the app is fine. I think the intent is good. I think the value of the app is really good, and I think there's a lot of naysayers that will look at everything as an attack or dangerous or anything. The problem is you need things out there in the world to help people. And you have to be able to brave the negativity that is out there, especially if you're going to put your information out there on Twitter or you're going to open it up to comments. You shouldn't. It's okay to take comments in, but I don't believe you should change your priorities and what you're trying to accomplish. If you're doing some good, I will tell you this, people that enjoy your product or use it and find it valuable, they probably won't give much feedback. Pretty content people don't say a whole lot.
Absolutely.
People that want to start a fight no matter what are the most vocal. So arguably, I think the negativity comes from people saying, this could be misused. The fact is, anything in the world could be misused. You could claim that Google Calendar or any calendar app that exists and is already preloaded on every machine everywhere, every smartphone, those could all be used for this exact same purpose, albeit not as valuable because it's not as automated, not as nice interface.
It doesn't collect all the data.
It's not automatically collecting her stuff.
True.
The person who has the app has to enter it. It's only as good as the data that they're guessing on. So again, it's not like a Big Brother situation more than an attentive partner trying to help predict things for themselves.
Right.
If that relationship is really strong, I don't even know if you'd need an app like this. I never even consider an app. But
right, because as we said, if they're communicating.
Right, but if you're starting off in a relationship, early in a relationship, for even first couple of years, maybe she's embarrassed by this stuff. But your partner's trying to be more aware, try to better themselves, and they need the help of an app. Why not? Why not help? So that's my stance. Is Ben, I would not be dissuaded in putting your app out there and helping people unless you feel the pushback is so strong from those voices that you just don't want that kind of heat. But I think what you have there is excellent. Anna, what do you think?
All right, so I think that this app has got a lot of potential. I think Ben should go for it. All
right. Well, so the last question is for our listeners. What advice would you give Ben in this situation? Leave your feedback in the comments down below.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video.
And we appreciate that. If you need advice, go ahead and click on the link in the description below, and it may get answered in a later episode.
And if you want to watch more Twice the Advice, check out our other videos right now.